Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to another video. Today, this is not a review. Anybody that puts out a review right now of an early access game that takes forever to play and get used to and see all the nuances is crazy. This isn't my full review. That'll come a few weeks after full release. But I just wanted to give my sort of early thoughts overall. Now the sort of dust has settled and importantly, getting used to all the new stuff and finding your way around. By the way, that's me, Barnett, there, just fifth, first season, doing all right. Yeah, mid-table, though. Just doing some bits, that's what I do. I just want to give you, I'm going to do it in a style of the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? I'm going to separate the bugs into the ugly, okay? We'll put that in the ugly, so don't think that I'm skirting past any of the problems that the game currently has. We'll get to that at the end, but I wanted to give my overall thoughts. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of negativity at the moment, and having played it for about 30 hours now, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing, I genuinely think that this could be eventually, maybe, lots of little asterisks, the best Football Manager game we've had so far. Okay, and I know people aren't liking positivity at the moment, but I hope to see it. But the only caveat is that I'm not sure how long that might take. It might take next game to be there, but let's see how it goes. So the good stuff, two major things that I absolutely love in this game. I love the match engine. I think it's great. It has a couple of problems. So some of the brightness at times is a little bit too much. There's a couple of little tweaks with the match engine that from like a throw-in, and there's an open guy that nobody marks for any reason. There's a couple of little things I'm noticing. But overall feeling of the match engine, I know it's not like FIFA graphics, but in our little world of Football Manager, it's much improved. The animations, the ball needs a shadow, because sometimes it sort of feels like it's floating a little bit. But overall, much improvement. The game flows well. I'm seeing some really nice passing movements, some inside passing, some pinging the ball to each other. Some really good highlights. I've had my first bicycle kick goal, which was nice. Like 2 yards out from a target man that's like 6'6". I feel like he could have just nodded and he was showing off. And some really nice stuff. When I concede goals, mostly I'm like, okay, I can see what the problem is here. It's really, really, really nice. And I think, as I've said before, the fact that it's not too buggy, I know there's problems, we'll get to that in the ugly, but means that, which is probably the hardest bit to fix if it was really buggy, is a good sign. And so I'm delighted with the match engine, absolutely delighted. Whether that's the code or the graphics on top, it just flows really nicely and feels really good playing football. Now, the other good thing, I am loving... Sorry. I'm far too old to do... Okay, I'm loving the tactics. I really am enjoying... And if you're new here, you might be like, okay, cool, I'm glad you enjoy it. If you've been around a while, you know I am terrible at tactics. Okay, it's my biggest weakness by far, but it feels like I'm building a tactic, and it feels like I can make changes, even little tweaks mid-game, and actually see the changes. I'm able to... There is some sort of bugs. The ugly bit we'll get to. It's hard to avoid the bugs, I know, when talking about it, but I'm saving it for a separate bit. But it just flows nice. I like having the whole in possession, out possession. It feels like I've got much more control over what I want to do. My previous problem with FM24, eventually, obviously I'm having played it for over 1,000 hours, so it's like I got my money's worth. But a problem I had with FM24 was I would look at my tactics and go, I want to do something different, but I feel like I've done all of the main tactics. You know what I mean? With this, there's just so much more to it. And I know it can be a bit fiddly to get used to, but there's just so much more. And you can, if you want, keep it kind of based, you don't... I know it can be sort of overwhelming for newer players, but you can keep, mine's pretty basic tactic here. It's a sort of deep line 4-4-2, and then all I'm doing is moving the wingers up. You don't have to change the roles out of possession. You can literally have the exact same thing, but just with slightly different roles and stuff. So I just feel like this is a huge step forward. So those are my two main. There is lots of little other things and stuff. I like some of the new screens, but those are my two main good things. Now let's get bad. So this one's actually harder to do because my initial thoughts of the UI was, I'm too old for this shit. Genuinely, it's like I have a real trouble nowadays. I've been a gamer for like all my entire life, and I've noticed, especially in the last few years, that I just struggle to learn new games. Like every complex game, whether it's a management sim or a building sim, sort of games I like, grand strategy games I like, I really have to push through, really not enjoying them until the point where I'm going, okay, I know, okay, I'm getting the flow of the game. I'm understanding where everything is now and getting to grips with it and stuff. And so that definitely happened in this game. But saying that, overall, again, ignoring bugs, overall, I like the new UI. Now, there is many things that I feel like some things are in the wrong position or they're on the wrong tab. Some of the pop-ups, there's lots of wasted space on some of the pop-ups. There's tons that could be improved on the UI. But I feel like they're two separate issues, right? One is getting used to it, and one is, once you've got used to it, it's hard to be super critical when you don't know what you're doing and just go, well, everything, because everything then feels bad, right? But once you get used to it, and this is, or obviously this whole video is personal opinion. If you hate it, you hate it. That's completely fine. But once you get used to it, I'm feeling like, okay, I'm flowing. Now, I don't play in the most detail. I haven't done my general training ever. And I totally get that other people that play in a lot more detail, they're popping on all the screens, they're going deep into stats, and they're looking at all the other things. It might feel a lot worse. But with me, I'm looking at sort of, you know, my bookmarks here and a couple of other screens, and I'm kind of getting the majority of that, and that's kind of all I need. So overall, as of now, ignoring bugs for a second, I kind of like the UI now. I've got used to it. There's still some times I'm struggling to find stuff, and you always have to bear in mind, am I struggling to find it because it's just moved or I don't know where it is, or am I struggling to find it because it's a bad layout? And there's probably a bit of both. Like I said, the UI can be still much improved. There's so many wastes of space and so many unnecessary clicks to get something. It's like, here's a little pop-up screen, and you might only need a little bit of information, and it could have been on that pop-up, but you have to then click in it again to get to the actual bit you want. There's too many screens that take an extra click or two to get to. So there's like huge improvements that can be made, but I would say at the moment, I'm okay with the UI. I'm on the sort of now trajectory of up arrow, and I'm liking it. It's okay. Now it's starting to feel a bit more fresh rather than just confusing to me and stuff. So it's obviously harder to place this one. I'm not going to put it in good, and I'm not going to put it in bad. It's like an in-between with hope for good. But now let's talk, we'll get to the ugly. Let's talk bad properly. So, for me, not bug related, this is bad stuff that I just think is bad. For me, it's missing things. I'm missing cup draws. I really like, you know, I might be weird. I really enjoy actually viewing, especially when you're later on in the Champions League, the cup draws. Okay, I miss the proper good end of season screens. There's a bunch that are just completely going out of my head. There's just lots of little things that are just like, oh, that's gone. I mentioned it in a previous video, like I'm hoping they're not going to reintroduce them and say, hey, new feature, guys. There's just, obviously stuff's been cut away, probably so they could release a game and not delay a game that they'd already delayed and cancelled, which is, to be fair, is fair enough on their part. But there's just seems to be lots of weirdly missing things that I used to have before, that I used to enjoy, and that have just been not had time to do, which sucks, which is a massive negative. So one of the other things that I think is just bad is I find this weird. I sort of tried to... This just seems a lot of effort. So this is like they are wanted posters. They were like, hey, we need a centre-back that's a fringe player. And it's like, okay, I can try and... It just seems weird when, if you want to sell a player, you kind of just want to go, hey, anybody want this guy? This just seems convoluted and pointless, which is but it's fine because there's other methods of doing it. I never have to look at this screen again. This part just feels utterly weird. Now, the other part, this may be a bit of a me thing, and this may be a bug. I do most of... Now, I'm a noob. I'm a slacker that doesn't hide my attributes. And I know, I'm playing on easy mode. I get it, right? I just find that more fun. And for me, it makes it easier. But I do like to scout all the players before I sign them. I like to try and rely on my scouts a bit, sort of role play it a little bit and go, hey, this guy thinks he's fine. Okay, I'm not sure, but we'll give him a go, sort of thing. And at the moment, when... Let's say I've done a big search. There you go. We've got 38 players found. I want to just highlight them all, and I'm going to send out my scouts. Right, send them out. See what the scouts think. Now, I don't know whether this is just a bug, or whether this is just me, or whether they've just decided to make this more difficult, so you start using the transfer room and transfer activity thing. But it seems that a scout takes an entire week to scout a single player. Now, I'm at Barnet. I think I have 3 scouts. So this 38... I'm not going to do the maths on a video. But it takes forever to scout players. And I feel like... So I'm asking my scout to scout this guy for a week. Is he, living in a tree outside his house? Is he following him to work in the coffee shop? Is he, spying in his bedroom? Does he, is he spending 24 hours a day Sky? I feel like a lot of that stuff's online nowadays, and you could probably do more than one player a week. Let me know if they've said if it's a bug or this has been a reported thing. But for me, and this is my main way of... And this was... I talked about being bad at tactics, but I'm better at signing players, and this just makes it horrible for me. Like I said, are they trying to make sure you use these things more? I'm also, and this goes for last year as well, last 2 years, FM24, the recruitment focuses, I find, not that useful. I will set up a recruitment focus. I'm looking for a big target man. I put in the role of target man. Okay, that's just creating random ones now. Okay, let's just go all. I don't like the default is any position, and you have to unclick that to then click that. I'm looking for a target forward and stuff, and then I'll don't have to worry about that. Bosh, here we go, some target forwards. And did that even go? Was it this one? Either way, it doesn't matter. The target forward, and then some of the players, it'll be like, this guy's a target forward. Oh, yeah, admittedly, he's got 3 strength, 4 jumping reach, and 6 heading. I'm like, it's not really a target man. It seems very... And so many of these transfer room in and the recruitment focuses gives you players that just have no wish to be at your club, or just hate me personally. And so that... I feel like, especially with transfer room in, because I feel like, isn't that supposed to be a recruitment tool where I'm putting out an ad, like in the transfer room out, essentially the other way round, where I'm saying, hey guys, need a left back, that's willing, and I can click on some of these players, and they're just like, oh no, absolutely no interest. It also doesn't update. It seems to take 3 days or so. You'll get a group of players, and that'll be it. So even if these all went to Man United next week, they would still be on my list, and they would be pointless. So it doesn't seem to continuously update, which maybe that's the way it's meant to be, but that just means you keep having to just redo it every time you wanna look. But overall, most of the I've been, you know, I was thinking for a while about what other bad things I have in the game, and they're the main ones. There's not really, other than the bit we'll get to, there's not really that many things I really hate. Again, the UI's a medium good and bad, with hope for good. But let's get to the ugly. So, let's talk about bugs. By the way, just as a side, how bad must have FM25 be that they cancelled it? This is how buggy FM26 is. Like, you know, they've been working on this for years, even before the launch of FM24. Like, I feel like it got to a point where they kind of started again or redid a lot of the thing. That's why we're at this stage we are. But this game, and I stand by what I said in one of my previous videos, if somebody was on the fence or wasn't a fan initially but wanted to maybe get this as their first Football Manager, I'd say wait. Now, caveat all this by saying it is early access. I know beta doesn't mean beta anymore, because beta is a thing that exists for like a year before a game launches and gets iterated on and iterated on. Like, calling an alpha test a thing that happened 3 weeks ago is mental. An alpha test of a game is something that's really unplayable and may only have a couple of game elements in to see if that works. It's like not even a remotely finished game. Anyway, this game is incredibly buggy, and we are, you know, not far out from release now. And to give credit to Sports Interactive, they are releasing daily hotfixes, which, again, makes me wonder how bad it has been that they are constantly updating, and must have been for the last few months of just continuous, like, just fighting fires after fires. There is so many bugs in this game. I've crashed three times. Also, I should have said maybe this, no, because it's more bug related. I have a network save with a friend. I'm the host, and mine seems pretty stable. But we have to save before each game, because he'll have a bug that says preparing for match, but then the game just locks, so we have to reload and it goes in. He will also just get randomly frozen halfway through matches and stuff. And I know other people have had loads more crash problems and everything like that, like big bugs, the fat bugs, the juicy ones, the big cockroaches that live forever, that sort of thing. And on top of that, there's just so many bugs with window pop-ups, with incorrect formatting. I don't know how this has happened, but it's some of the stats you look at are the wrong way round. Oh, you're winning a game, you're going up in the league. You've leapfrogged another team in the league, and it'll say a red down arrow. The form of teams and stuff seems to be back to front of how it normally is. The form here, I need more than a medium green blob. Okay, I've got my ratings. I want to be able to hover over these and it tells me ratings. That's a bug, because that would be just stupid otherwise. There's bugs with games launches. There's bugs with when you go into your tactics. Sometimes it'll just, as I had one in my Liverpool save, the whole team disappeared, the whole tactic disappeared for in possession. But also smaller ones, like, you know, you bring on a player but it's swapping them now and you've not even noticed. There's endless amounts of bugs. Like, it is the buggiest game that's come out of Sports Interactive for 20 odd years. It's like like I said, I cannot suggest to anyone to buy this game right now. Again, and so that's what covered the bugs. We all know that is just a ridiculous amount of bugs. But we still have a little bit of time before the game releases, and there is zero chance that they fix all the bugs for the game release, right? Absolutely zero chance, okay? But we seem to be in this world now, and I'm not giving Sports Interactive an excuse here, but I follow the gaming landscape closely, and the amount of games that it seems just that we'll release it buggy and we'll fix it as we go. Back in my day, before internet, we used to get games on a CD or a cassette or a cartridge, And it had to be complete and bug-free because there was no way to update it. And now we're in this internet world where updates, even the games are all online now and you just download them, that it's like a day one patch and all this sort of stuff, that it seems to be just accepted, which sucks that games come out buggy. But the thing is, if Sports Interactive continue this sort of bug squashing that they've done for the last few days, they can get rid of a lot of, let's say, for instance, there's 100 bugs. I reckon there's a chance they get rid of 30 bugs before the actual game releases. So the game will come out and be a buggy game. Now, I've gone through all the good and the bad and the ugly. But my underlying feeling is that I think that this could be the best FM ever. It's certainly the best match engine already, with its problems, but still, I would argue with anyone that this is the best match engine we've had. So that's one side of the game, right? The other side is obviously the entire rest of it in the UI and all that sort of good stuff that's got incredibly amounts of bugs. But I genuinely think that they are going to fix it up. But the asterisk to that is, it might take 6 months. It might take 8 months. And then we're getting in the territory of, if you're going to wait for the bugs to be fixed, why would you buy a game in, August, when the new game's just around the corner? Like, is the actual bug-free version going to be FM27? That's my problem. That's why I can't suggest it to people to buy it. And I just think they are absolutely struggling at the moment. And it's not for want of trying. Like, it's not like they took a holiday for the last year. They clearly was way more buggy than they thought. And I reckon they had a massive change of direction at some point during maybe the end, FM25, when they were looking at it and stuff and going, right, do we delay this? Can we release this? Because it's a no-brainer that you couldn't release it. If it's this buggy at this stage, then how bad was it a year ago? So I feel like they've gone, this isn't working, we'll redo the UI or redo something, and we'll, basically sort of start again or start from halfway again. I genuinely think we'll look back in 6 months, let's say, or in 6 months we'll look at the game and go, this actually is quite special. Like, I genuinely think that could happen. But I'm not, as I said, this is not to say that you should buy it. Like, I'm fine, because forgetting the YouTube stuff, me and my friend on the networks, we found workarounds for a lot of the bugs. We save for each game. It's a little bit of a pain. Some of the really random stuff that's happened is just a laugh. Like my Liverpool save where I've had basically 3 left wing backs and nobody else. I don't mind that stuff, but I also know that other people, that's just absolutely unacceptable. You're paying full price for a game that should deliver more on release. And also I know that for some people, even if they fixed up the UI, all the little problems with the UI will be just, regardless of how good it is, a no-go for some people. They'll just think, no, I just don't like this UI. There is no UI in existence, obviously, that would please everybody, but I totally get that some people, especially if you're an oldie like me, who is used to everything where it is, having extra struggles. But I would say, and this is not trying to sort of sell you the game or whatever, is that getting used to the UI and is it a bad UI are completely separate things, right? If you redesign a UI for any single game, or a new game comes out that obviously has a new UI, you kind of have to push through, especially if you're talking simulation, strategy, grand strategy games, you kind of have to push through that stuff. And now I have, and I can see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I'm thinking this is going to be fine for me. I'm fine. This is good, and I think it'll only get better. But like I said, totally get if somebody's like, you know what, this is not for me. This is a bad game. This is not for me. Totally understand that. So that was supposed to be a short, quick video, but I don't do short, quick videos. If you don't know, I don't know why I would have to point this out. I don't plan too heavily on my videos. I don't script my videos. I just talk utter bollocks for far too long. and lose all engagement, and then, you know, move on with my life. And I can't believe I'm not growing. Oh dear, oh dear. But yes, so that's how I feel about the game so far. I think, for me, I'm enjoying it. Despite all the foibles and the mistakes and the errors and the bugs and a couple of things I don't like, I'm really enjoying watching games of football, which is a massive part for me, and I don't play the game so in depth that the problems with the UI affect me too much. And that's a very personal thing. Everybody has their own, you know, what's acceptable type level, and totally get if you don't understand it. But there we go. There are my thoughts. I'll challenge you. I'll challenge you in the comments. Give me one thing, good, bad, ugly, or just good, bad, or whatever, how you ever want to do it. But just your favourite thing, your most favourite thing, and we're not allowed to talk about bugs, okay? The good thing that you love, the bad thing that you dislike, okay? So, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.